I'm here with my man Trav.
Good, bro.
Travis J Entertainment on Twitter.
Travis J. N.
Travis J Ed. All right, so we're here in the Bronx, New York. My man's from London.
Right outside the Yankee Stadium, bro.
Right. This is Monday Night Smoke. My man Travis J, half of the dynamic duo with KG the comedian.
Yep. Undefeated podcast.
And we're gonna do this conversation in two parts. So, part number one is gonna be right here on the Undefeated podcast. Part number two is gonna be on my channel, Maestro A. So we're gonna get right into it.
Yep.
I didn't get the call for the squared circle this week, so this is gonna be like the replacement pod.
I had to come out and do it in person, bro.
Right? So a lot of stuff to talk about in boxing. First thing I want to talk to you about that I didn't get to speak to you about on Monday Night Smoke is the Tank Davis
Garcia fight, right?
Garcia fight.
Okay.
And I don't want to get into whether or not they quit and all of that stuff, or that Ryan quit.
Mm-hmm.
What I'd rather focus on is Tank's reception in the UK. Because having been out in the UK before, I know that there is a culture that is like very receptive of certain black fighters from the United States.
Yeah.
The biggest one to me being Tyson. From back in the day.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to be shocked that it seemed to me like Tyson got more love in the UK than Lennox did.
He did. I remember that time we came to Brixton and it was flooded in the streets. I don't really know if Lennox really got that type of response here. It was unfortunate considering how great his career was. But touching on Tank now, this fight, so I got a lot of slack for this on the channel. I said that this fight was like Floyd and Oscar De La Hoya in terms of the faces type of thing. Obviously, this isn't, taking it from Garcia, but through our spectacle that we created together, he's now become, I wouldn't say he's overtaken Canelo, but I'd say when you say he's the face, it's like he's clearly the one waiting when Canelo starts to exit that door. And the reason why I feel like that is because this fight crossed over to the casuals. Like, it was like a Floyd fight in terms of how many people were hitting me up just to be like, bro, who do you think's gonna win? I want to bet. I get a lot of people that ask me for that type of advice, but it was people who I know don't care about boxing.
Yeah.
So it really reached far.
Right. So I mean, you brought up Floyd.
Yeah.
I was out there living in the UK in 2009.
Yeah.
When Floyd came out of retirement and was getting ready to fight Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the reception Floyd got from the black UK public was pretty heavy, right?
Everybody loves Floyd.
Is Tank prime for that in the UK?
He needs to do just a little bit more to get what Floyd had at that point. So, like, because Floyd had a Ricky Hatton, like, the Ricky Hatton point for me is when I took notice of Floyd, real time. That's when I was like, because I used to, you know how British media does with our fighters. Yeah. I thought Ricky Hatton was unstoppable. So I'm like, boy, how's this guy going to do it? When he beat Ricky Hatton.
He was unstoppable, but he never fought Junior Witter, though.
Well, this is what I mean.
Shout out to all the men, them in Bradford and Yorkshire in general.
But this is the thing, though. So it's like, when he did that, he grabbed the whole of UK because you took Ricky Hatton down. Tank needs to, if Tank had an opponent that would bring him to the UK or bring a UK audience to his fight, then you'd see him quickly graduate to that. But right now, I wouldn't say it's there just yet.
All right. But there was excitement, though.
Oh, big time.
Casual and hardcore.
Yep, absolutely.
And the reaction to the win in the UK?
This is why I say he's the face, because now people are looking at him like he's the face. Like, we know that belts, the value of belts these days is going down, and it's going down every year. But when a guy like that announces himself, like, because this is a massive spectacle for both of them, but you knock him out and win in that fashion, you've just inherited a whole new fan base.
Well, I've said it before. I've done these rants on my own channel. I might have done it on yours, where I say Devin Haney's the champion at 135.
Oh, no, he definitely is.
Devin Haney holds all the belts at 135. Devin Haney beat Gambosis not once but twice. And Devin Haney is about to fight May 20th in Las Vegas against Loma, who used to be considered by many people to be like one of the best fighters, talented-wise, in the game.
Absolutely.
What's the reception for Devin Haney like in the
crazy.
UK?
It's not crazy at all, because the thing is, it's excitement. KOs. When you bring KOs, you bring a different energy to the game. And because Haney doesn't do that, Haney would make for a great opponent for Tank. Now, for us in the boxing game, That's crazy. He's the undisputed champ. Why doesn't he have that? But unfortunately, he doesn't move tickets like that. He doesn't generate that level of excitement. So you need that dance partner. You need to go up against Tank. If he beats Tank, he effectively takes it. You understand? Like, he's going to have to take it from him, which is insane.
I'm trying to figure out who's primed to be like the crossover guy for the
Tank.
UK.
It's Tank.
It's Tank. It's not Shakur. It's not Haney.
Shakur has the possibility, but he needs to have a spectacle moment, just like how Tank did. But I personally feel like Shakur is going to be to develop to be the best one out of all of them. Like, I'm a huge Shakur Stevenson fan.
So am I. Now, last on this, I've been saying for years that guys like Crawford, and now guys like Haney, guys like Shakur specifically, that they should go out to the UK because the UK respects fighters. Like, am I way off for saying that they could do an O2 Arena or a Manchester Arena with the right opponent?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was waiting for that with the right opponent bit. Definitely. Like, there's a fan base over here. Like, this is the thing. It's like, for me, I've always kind of felt like if the heavyweight champion is from a certain country, you have a good, potential to bring boxing that way. AJ's kind of done that with his run. He just brought things over this side. So the best thing for these guys to do is capitalize over that. And what will happen is you'll bring them back to America. They'll bring them back to Vegas. It will go back to what it was like before when Floyd was dominating. So, UK is an audience that's worth touching for guys out here.
Now, talking about the UK, I've been saying it for a while. Russia's obviously leading the way in terms of the light heavyweights.
Absolutely.
Bivol and Beterbiev, like, it just needs to stop there. Once you got those two, like, obviously you're running the game. But the UK is right behind.
Yeah.
Right? Anthony Yard, who's been unsuccessful twice in championship fights, but who did have moments of success in those fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And he's coming off of a loss in a fight against Beterbiev, who's, for me, my number one, but that's obviously debatable. We also obviously have Craig Richards. There's Dan Aziz, right? And, of course, there's Joshua Buatsi.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't that long ago where Joshua Buatsi, I forgot one, my number one. How could I have forgotten? Callum Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, who obviously has moved up from the super middleweight division where he was the man until Canelo beat him. Look, I watched the fight yesterday on Sky Sport Action, and not to be harsh, but I went in there with kind of high expectations for Buatsi. I thought that this being his debut on Sky, this being his first fight after leaving the Zone Matchroom and 258 management, that he was going to try to make a really big statement in his debut on Sky. And I walked away from the fight with more questions than answers, Trav.
Absolutely.
So give me your thoughts on first impressions of the fight yesterday.
Yeah, look, man, it underwhelmed. It underwhelmed. I don't want to discredit and act like he was in there with a bum because, Sapien had a bit more than I probably thought he was going to have, but not enough for me to feel like it needed to take the whole distance.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's a weird thing that's happening in boxing right now. We're seeing this a few times where it's like, yo, this is your opportunity to make a statement. Make this statement and the noise will stop. All the critique, all the stuff. And it's like, with AJ, the whole thing about making a statement with a knockout win, the knockout talk, and not getting a knockout, and afterwards it's like, It's weird because it sets the tone for us to not appreciate that, his opponent actually was quite decent.
Yeah.
We just go, well, it wasn't a knockout, this is rubbish. And that's unfortunate, but at the same time, I feel like what I like about Buatsi is the killer instinct. He goes to war, he lets his hands go. We saw him against Craig Richards. The only thing I had issue with in that performance was I felt like his gas tank is a bit questionable, and his defense was quite like, whoa, you're getting hit with everything. But in this fight, it's almost like he regressed away from being that high punch output guy.
That guy with the killer instinct.
That's right. And now we're doing other technical things, and it just made me feel like, what's happening right now in camp? What work are you guys doing over there?
I hear people talking about that, and I'm not saying he doesn't do technical boxing, but it's almost like, I don't want to say it's not a pro style. It's definitely a pro style, but I used to see a guy that would combination punch more and put like that extra sauce on his shots.
And there'll be like little moments in between certain rounds where he's like, he starts to stalk and then he just stops. And I think he's really concerned about his stamina.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. Where he's like, I don't know if I'm going to get this guy out of here. He landed some clean right hands throughout the fight, and he never really wobbled him. Do you know what I mean?
No, he didn't really wobble him.
That's what I mean.
There are a couple moments where he had to take a backward step, but...
So how powerful is he then? Is it a thing when we look at the power, or do we just say something else isn't right?
I mean, it didn't look like Craig Richards was troubled by the power.
He hit Craig with everything.
Yeah, and Craig was there for all 12 rounds. I thought Craig had a lot of success in that fight.
Craig was clear-eyed as well.
Yeah.
I didn't see him legless. I didn't see him. So for me, I'm like, maybe him being a high-volume puncher, getting the KOs. I don't know how big his single shot is. But either way, I mean, power's all relative. I just feel like the killer instinct factor. I'm like, you can't lose that, because I don't know that your technical game is up there with your aggressive game, if that makes sense.
But Trav, that's my thing, because if you're not a guy that with like one punch, right? Yeah. Then you kind of got to be more like almost a Benavidez, where you're constantly moving forward and throwing volume punches.
Yeah.
And kind of laying the foundation for taking your guy out of there late. I just don't know if I've seen any clear identity under the stewardship of Virgil Hunter.
Yeah.
What's Buatsi's identity right now?
Under Virgil Hunter, it's not clear.
Yeah.
I've seen him I think it's 3 fights now under Virgil, and he's like a crossfader. He's just moving away from being who he is into this weird version of a fighter that we don't really recognize. And I'll be honest, I don't really rate Virgil Hunter that highly as a trainer.
Yeah.
If you take Andre Ward off the table, what do we have under that?
It's a lot of question marks.
This is what I'm saying.
Did Amir Khan improve under him? It's debatable.
No.
Did Tony Yoka go anywhere under him right now? That's also debatable too, isn't it?
I don't want to discredit him and make it seem like he had nothing to do with Andre Ward, because that's his moment in his legacy. But at the same time, I'm like, him and Buatsi, it was never a great fit. A fighter with those attributes, you're just going to scale it back to something else. He needs to be with someone that's like Freddie Roach or, what's the guy's name? David Hayes' trainer, Booth.
Adam Booth.
Yeah, like someone who's going to push you in to your natural instinctual attributes rather than try and add different ones.
I got a name for him, but at the end of the day, he's currently training one of the top dogs, if not the top dog. I'm talking about Mark Ramsey.
Yeah, okay.
Beterbie's trainer,
Yeah.
I think that would be a great trainer for him, because that's a
100%.
very offensive style.
That's what I mean.
Focused on power punches behind a jab.
I don't like defensive Buatsi. I don't. It don't make sense. And you can see he's not instinctively a defensive fighter.
So let me ask you this. Is he in your top 3 British light heavyweights right now?
Yeah, but I push him down. He's not one. Like
you got at number 1?
I got Yard at 1. I got Buatsi at 2, I'd say. Craig is
wherever Buatsi is, I have Craig Richards tied with him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's it. I mean, Callum Smith, for me, I'm not really sold on Callum's light heavyweight campaign. I understand he was a middleweight world champ, but you got a nod over Ryder, which you didn't really deserve, and you watched that fight back.
I'm like that silverback gorilla swinging from the trees by myself when it comes to Callum Smith.
Yeah, you love this
because
guy,
I'm the only one.
You love this
I'm the
guy.
only one rating him as a light heavyweight.
I don't get it. He needs to do more, bro. I need to see a significant opponent against a live body. You know what I'm saying? If he had a Craig Richards under him, I'd say, cool, run along. World champ from there. You've come up and done that. I'm here for your campaign. At this moment right now, the laurels and respect that he's getting at light heavy is coming from the super middleweight division. And I don't think it translates. Look at Canelo. Look what Canelo did to Smith. Punched his arm up and just walked him. You know what I mean? He's gone up to light heavy and got schooled by Bivol.
Yeah, so I asked you this earlier. You gave me an answer. I'm going to see if you're going to give the same answer again.
Okay.
According to my man Joe Habib's reporting at Ringside Reporter Live, he did an interview with Bob Arum. Bob says, because obviously they won the purse bid for this fight, they beat out Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, which is an interesting discussion as well. I mean, Eddie Hearn seems to be losing a lot of these big purse bids, but Callum Smith is going to have to cross the street, all right, go to Montreal, or at least Quebec, I think it's going to be Montreal, and fight. We're live right now. Thank you. And we live outside, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the Bronx. It is what it is. So he's going to have to go to Montreal and fight Beterbiev. Now, By the way, who the hell interrupts people when they're speaking on
That's
it?
crazy.
With
Well, on mic, and
microphones?
it's like, yo, can I just, like, bro, go away. Go
Stop
away.
and ask that question. Come on, yo.
Can I just stop your production?
Yeah, you mind just stopping what you're doing right now to give me directions because I'm outside Yankee Stadium and I'm lost.
That's crazy.
Google it. Whatever you're doing, Google.
He ain't got a smartphone. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
Or he's international. He doesn't want to use the.
Bro, still asking for directions when the technology is available. That's insane.
So, the question is, let me get to it back. He's going to fight Better Beeb in Better Beeb's new hometown. If he goes the distance with Better Beeb, something that nobody's done, I don't think he can beat Better Beeb. And by the way, I'll be surprised if he goes the distance. Mm. But if he does go the distance, surely he's number one, Trav. Surely.
Okay, but it does matter how the fight looks.
Yeah.
Right? So this is what I said before. If he goes in there to survive, and literally not engage, run, no bruises on Better, nothing, and he gets to 12 doing that, I'm like, nah, I'm not really rating that higher. Like, Yard came to fight him. And whatever happened, but he came to hurt him. He backed him up, had some moments. I wouldn't make a case for him winning the fight if we're doing points at the time.
Yeah.
But he made a great account of himself. He went to work. Callum Smith, if he comes in there and does some Canelo shit, bro, wrap it up, man. Get him the hell out of here. Because thing is, look what Ryder did in there with Canelo this weekend, right?
And we're gonna talk about that right now.
He came to fight. Yeah. That's someone who came to at least commit and give it a go. Callum Smith came in there like he didn't want to box anymore. Man punched your arm off, bro.
So you don't even have him top 3. Would you push him in the top 3?
He needs a win at light heavy, a significant one, and then I can say
Castillo one ain't doing
Nah, bro. Nah.
All right. So you brought it up. We might as well get into it now.
Cool.
Canelo. There was this debate. I thought it was rather silly, to be honest, about the quote-unquote face of boxing with Tank. Canelo been doing this for a while. He's had multiple pay-per-views that have sold well over 500,000 here in the United States.
Yeah.
And, not that this is boxing, but that ring entrance yesterday, I rewatched it with you and my wife across the street at the apartment not that long ago.
That was phenomenal.
That is the face of boxing.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any other fighter that somebody would invest that much money into a ring entrance for.
Thing is, though, the face of boxing talk has got carried away. We know Canelo is right now the face of boxing. But what we do know simultaneously is that that's coming to an end in the not too distant future. It's about establishing who's next. Tank is first place in that conversation. So him being the face don't move Canelo out the convo. It just means, yo, I'm right here for when you decide to, you know what I mean? But that entrance was insane. That was a football match. It was a whole music production. It was a show. That was a halftime show.
Yeah, you heard my wife say it. It was essentially a Super Bowl type.
Yes. For real.
Extravaganza. Look, it was very impressive. The win itself. I think the thing that most impressed me, believe it or not, and this shouldn't be something that I'm like promoting or whatever, but Ryder's toughness.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he got his nose broke in the second round.
He was right there.
And it didn't look like he had any quit in him at all.
Anytime he even got hit with a few shots, always straight back in his, for me, I really respect that resolve. It's like, look, you didn't come to survive. He came and said what he said. He did what he said he was going to do. I'm going to be right there, straight to him. And he was. He took some big shots throughout the fight, but he also had a lot of moments himself. Do you know what I mean? So, full respect to him, credit to him. I look at that performance and I'm like, yeah, what Callum Smith did in there with Canelo compared to that performance was not even worth a conversation. So I don't have hopes for him and his mental resolve at the light heavyweight division with any of the significant guys that we speak about all the time.
No, what about the fact, though, that he was really struggling to cut down to that weight class?
Well, we'll see. All I'm saying is,
he was a really big super middleweight cutting
to
make the weight, right?
That's fair. But, I mean, look, I'm not too super well versed on what the effects of when you struggle to make weight, you make it. Maybe it takes a bit more out of you. But I didn't see a man in there who came to win, nor did I see a man who came to try. So when I'm seeing you get like just dismantled, you don't even let your hands go at any moment where you're like, let me roll the dice. That means you got that in you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When a fighter quits, you're like, you got that quit in you, whereas he can quit on his feet and stay in the fight. So if I see you in there with Bivol or Beterbiev, and Beterbiev hurts you,
all of a sudden this man is doing stretches in our shot. It's incredible. Welcome to New York City, ladies and gentlemen.
Showtime, baby.
Welcome to the Bronx.
But this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, he could quit, bro. Like, I don't see for sure that if Watsy starts to go crazy with the combinations, he's going to still match that fire and stay in there on that smoke. If he hits Craig and doesn't hurt Craig, where's he going to be in round 10, 11? So this is why I'm just like, no, the jury's still out on Callum Smith for me.
Fair enough. Last question I got for you, and, fire off anything yourself before we get to part 2.
Mm-hmm.
AJ, he had the win against Franklin. I think he pretty much won as comprehensively as you can. I mean, it was obviously a win for AJ. He didn't score the KO that a lot of people expected him to get or were demanding of him. He's rumored to be going into a big fight in December, courtesy of the Saudis, against Deontay Wilder.
Yep.
I've spoken to a close member of Team Wilder who confirmed that is 100% happening.
Okay.
I actually spoke to him about this when I was out in Vegas for the Tank Ryan fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no doubt it's happening.
Okay.
The question I have for you is, should another fight happen for AJ before that fight?
Yeah, I'd like to see him go out one more time before that fight. I think it would be good for his confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's one of those things, right? We overanalyze AJ's mental state, as if we can see the truth from as far out of his life as we are. But, there's some things that I just would like to see cleaned up. Like, I want to see him in there with a straight up and down heavyweight just to go and knock him out. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't want it to necessarily be an easy touch. Go in there with a Dillian White, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to get that touch before the fight. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's important to get another run out under Derek James. I like what I've seen from him under Derek James so far, but build on that and bring back the element of the explosiveness that we know AJ for.
So, straight up and down heavyweight, we're putting Dillian White into that category.
Yeah.
Could we put an Andy Ruiz Jr. trilogy fight in that category?
No, because it would just look like the Franklin fight. See, with that Franklin fight, a lot of people have kind of come away saying he's gun shy. I've had several debates and convos and arguments with my friends and family. But for me, I look at that he knows he learned how to deal with the Ruiz style. After the defeat, he came back with that game plan we saw in the rematch. That's his way of dealing with short fighters. He probably thought he could level it up. Hey, this car is crazy. What is?
Yeah, it's actually
like a go-kart, freewheeler.
Yeah, we might have to cut this part out. Oh, he actually turned off the music for us. I appreciate that.
Dope.
I appreciate that. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets.
Yo.
All right, yeah, the bikes are out and
hey, this is cold.
big up to the guys on the slingshots.
Yeah, for real.
Which are 3-wheeled motorcycles for those who couldn't see them. They cut the music off.
That's mad respectful.
Yeah, big time. So yeah, you were saying, I think what you were getting to is the style of the shorter fighter.
Yeah, I think that's he has that way of dealing with them. He probably tried to put it on steroids and hopefully to beat Usyk that way. Found out he ain't going to be able to do that. But I think that's his way. You get him in there with a short, slick counter puncher, he's going to do that because he's like, yo, the hand speed that this guy's operating on, I probably can't compete with it. So keep you outside. If I see a shot there, I'll take it. It's unfortunate, but I don't see that as a precursor to what it looks like with Wilder and Fury. I feel like with Wilder, it's going to be a dice roll.
So I got one for you. Shout out to Billy Nelson. What about Martin Bacoli?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of him. I don't see him getting an AJ fight. I don't see him getting a fight with any of the guys from this era, if I'm brutally honest.
So we're talking really right now Dillian?
I think
Hrgovic?
Yeah, bring anyone. Yeah.
I don't really see why everybody is like, oh no, AJ can't fight Hrgovic.
I mean,
Hrgovic didn't barely scrape by Zhang Zhilei. So
he didn't beat Zhang. He didn't beat Zhang. They robbed Zhang blind in there. That man, I don't listen, man. A lot of people saying, personal stuff outside the ring. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fighters have to fight through these life moments. So I get that could have had something to do with it. But I don't see anything in Hergovich that makes me think, yo, keep AJ away from that man. Nah, bro.
Well, there you go. Anything else in part 1, Trav, that you want to get off your chest or talk about?
Fam, I'm easy, bro. Let's go to part 2.
All right, so part 2 coming up next.